Saunders, professional Colorado sports announcer.
1-0 to Ryan, drives it to right, going back, Puig, and it's gone!
You're tuning in to the Mile High Pundit Podcast.
Bones to Jokic, gone! Two-hand!
Follow us on Twitter at Mile High Pundit Podcast.
The Colorado Avalanche are Stanley Cup champions, and they will lift Lord Stanley a mile high!
Now, here's your hosts, Joel James and Jared Shuck.
Welcome back, dude.
One of these days I'll get around to changing that fucking intro, I promise. One of these days.
The bones to Jokic, dude. Tier.
Whatever,
Single
bro. You
tier.
know what? Bones still got a ring, I guess.
Gangster tier. Shipped to him on his couch, bro.
Yeah.
Shipped to him on his couch.
He's not gonna get the ring in person like all the boys did from the Avs, you know? So,
Dude. I just want to come out fully and say that I think the last time we podcasted, I predicted something that did not happen with the Avalanche. And
I'm
It's a little
pretty
bit
sure you
too-
did too.
a little bit too homeristic with it. But yeah, we'll be getting into all sorts of stuff, just Avs, Nuggets. I mean, you name it, we're probably going to be talking about it today. Jared, bro, how have you been though? By the way, I mean, I know we saw each other a few weeks ago over July 4th at Blake Street, off Blake Street, which was nice.
I think I spent more time in hotel rooms and like family houses and in the car or on an airplane than I spent my own fucking bed in the month of July. Because like you said, I was in Colorado over the 4th. I was back for all of a week and I was gone again. I was in fucking Buffalo. So
Jeez. Traveling man.
it was, yeah, it's been a very long month for me. And sadly, it's not getting any, it's not slowing down at all. So,
Dude, it's feel like it's flown by as far as just like the summer goes.
and we have another heat advisory. Great.
Again down there. It's not
Yep.
like every other day for you guys now.
No, they pretty much like extended all the time. They like went away for 2 days and now they're like extending it again. And Sadie's trying to
Jeez.
rip my arm off the goddamn desk. Sadie.
It's like what, like 100 degrees plus down there, I'm guessing.
It says 100 right now. There's an air quality alert. The high is 102, but I'm calling bullshit because it feels a lot hotter than that.
Yeah. We actually had
Yeah.
a few of those days here in Colorado, but then we've been getting all those nice just rainstorms really in the like early, like late afternoon. So it's cooled things off a little bit. But yeah, man, on top of that, like we've had like, I can't remember if it was like a couple weeks ago, like maybe 1-2 weeks ago, but it was legitimately 99 degrees at 7 p.m. one day. And looks like Jared's taken a little phone call there, but yeah, we're just going to be getting into all sorts of stuff, from just our lack of Nuggets content, especially given what they've done, to just everything the Avs are doing, free agency wise, draft wise. If you haven't caught it, we had actually kind of just like a draft show, free agency show with our lovely sponsors, 5 in a Game SN. And Jared's back, so I can clip
Full-time
him for-
work, bud. Full-time work. It never
Yeah.
fucking ends, I promise. Jesus
I feel
Christ.
that, man.
I'm ready for these pools to be fucking closed.
Soon. And then you're just that much closer to hockey too. So
Buddy, hockey hasn't left. What are you talking about? I'm
You're
on like
round.
6 days a week right now.
awesome, man.
That's where I was this morning. Yeah, we've been we've been trying to get back together to do something since the Nuggets one.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah.
We just can't.
And even
Can't
before
get the fucking
that,
time to figure it out.
yeah, like, and even before that too, like Jared had to go MIA on a few episodes. Like we had to bring in some guests just to kind of cover things and keep things going.
And yes, they have not been posted to Spotify, Apple, and everything else. I know that. I'm working on it. I'm behind. It's fine. We'll get it figured out at some point. Maybe.
But yeah, so I mean, man, season 3 debut, Mile High Pundit.
Here, hold on. Let's do this. Let's have some fun with this in the first 10 minutes. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Because people don't really understand the backstory of how this shit even started.
Okay.
Because that story, I'm sure it's in my text somewhere.
That's wild, dude.
Like, it's been 3 years. So we're in the height of COVID in Colorado, so everything's shut down. I'm playing golf 3 days a week at this point because I'm unemployed and I'm getting paid just to hang out at home.
I was still living in Fort Collins at this point. It was before I moved to Commerce and before I moved from Commerce to my spot now.
Right.
So,
and I'm just chilling and so I'm like, all right, well, like I'm just playing golf every day, and all of a sudden I get a text from Joel, and I'm like, that's weird. I haven't heard from Joel since we saw each other in Fort Collins after an Eagles game, and neither of us were in a state to be driving home that evening.
No.
So we were just, Joel texted me, goes, hey, what do you want to do a podcast? And I'm like, what the fuck? Sure. I don't fucking sure. Fuck it. I don't care. I'm like, I've got all the equipment already. I mean, I can rip and roll. I remember that first episode, bro. That was like what, 2 fucking hours?
Dude, it was like 245, 250-ish, give or take. But we just like went off, man.
Yeah,
because
we did.
There was so much because there was like the new like structure with like all the bubble stuff and like all the COVID.
It was fucking weird,
like,
man.
It was wild. But like the backstory to that is that we had actually met. Like, I mean, we had gone years without seeing each other, since high school.
Yeah, it was like high school at least.
And we randomly ran into each other, and this was like maybe 3/4 of the way through the season, mind you. But do you remember our random just run-in at the Eagles press box or outside one of the pressers that night, where it was literally just like an aha moment. It's like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?
I don't I remember so many things from like working those Eagles games, and I don't fucking remember that.
It was maybe, I want to say it was March, the first year they were up.
We were in playoff push. That's right.
Mm-hmm. March, the first year they were up in the AHL. We ran into each other. We ran into each other because this was post ECHL days.
Yeah, you missed the 2 fun ones.
Yeah, I missed those.
A lot of alcohol.
But we ran into each other.
We can't talk about those stories on here because
no.
Yeah.
Implications, my friend.
Oh, way too many.
I'm taking a quote out of Always Sunny in Philadelphia here. Dennis Reynolds. Think of the implications. But yeah, we ran into each other randomly outside that presser. I think it was during either right before the playoffs or during round 1 of that initial AHL year. But
I think
it was like the little, it was legit like the little Pokemon,
season,
like the little Pokemon trainer, like exclamation point, like, aha, like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here type thing. Like, dude, it was wild.
I think it was regular season.
It might have been, honestly. It's one of those games. But, and from there it was like, well, like, we could, and so from my perspective of that, before I texted you, I was like, we could actually get into this on like a whole other level as far as like providing some entertainment and some stories that, the regular people that don't really have access to like that side of things could see. And that's kind of how Mile High Pundit was born. 3 years. I think it was like a summer.
It's pretty damn close to 3 years to the date. I'm pretty sure, man.
Because our first episode was June, July.
Yeah, it was somewhere in there
of 2020.
I don't know. Spotify will tell me. So let's see.
Yeah.
Spotify always knows. Spotify knows what I listen to. Spotify knows what you listen to. Spotify knows everything. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, June 25th of 2020.
Jeez. So yeah, just over 3 years and a month
Yeah,
to the date.
with a lot of breaks in there too.
A
Way too
lot of
many
breaks. A lot of breaks. Way too
Way
many.
too many. We're just
Way
getting
too
old, man. We're getting
We
old.
really are. We
Like
really
I
are,
wake up
man.
every morning and my back hurts. Like I can like literally just twist. I can pop my back now. It's insane.
Scared to turn 30.
I don't even want to think about it, bro. 29 is close enough. I'm gonna fucking pass. Oh, saw you drinking out of what appears to be a Yeti. I think it's a Yeti.
So,
I'm gonna admit this openly on the show here. I am now the proud owner of one of those fucking Stanley Cups that all the fucking girls have.
oh,
Sierra has 3 of them. And
Been,
the entire car ride up to Denver, back down to Texas, I was drinking out of that motherfucker. And I was like, God damn it. Okay, I'm just gonna go buy one.
bro,
I had to go buy one.
you've been watching too many TikToks, my friend.
Dude, it's not the TikToks, bro. Bro, you want to talk about some funny fucking TikToks though? Sierra loves The Bachelorette and loves Bachelor. There's a guy on there who does like recaps of it, just fucking roasting it. I can understand everything that happened in the episode without actually having to watch the episode. It's fucking hilarious.
Bachelor, like those types of shows. Like I just remember, like, you know, at times, Bailey's a part of the Stanley family. See,
Dude, everybody is.
I guess I'm not, dude. I guess I have to
Buddy,
jump
you're
on
gonna have
that.
to get. They got a 30 ounce. I got a 40 ounce. I bought the 40 because I need to be drinking a shitload of more water. Like when I was in Buffalo, I hammered down a 40 pack of water, half the 40 pack by myself. Me and my roommate. My roommate and I knocked out a 40 pack in 3 days.
Dude, if you're not drinking like a gallon of water a day,
and I don't,
dude,
I don't,
yeah.
And that's why I'm like, okay, I need to drink the Stanley. But I've cut out soda pretty much completely, except for Sprite because it's clear. At least it's clear. I'm not drinking Coca-Cola anymore.
That's fair, dude. I can't even remember like the last time I've had a soda. If I'm being honest, like, it's been.
Buddy,
it's been
I
a
dropped
minute.
13 pounds just by cutting soda out. It was fucking unreal.
There you go.
13 pounds. I was like,
there you go.
What the fuck,
Like,
man?
Dude, it really hits when you can get to cut out like coffee and caffeine in the mornings and just drink like 8-ounce glass of water. Like it does like the same thing for your body. If you could like train your body to like get back to that, dude.
But I love
like,
my Red Bull, man.
Yeah, I know. You used to go through like.
Dude, I'm not on like the full. I'm not on the full sugar ones anymore either. I'm on the zeros.
Well, there you go.
Like not
there you
like
go.
sugar free, but like the Red Bull Zero. So it's like
Dude.
15 calories, no sugar, no added sugar. Like it's fucking perfect. It's just got a fuckload of caffeine though.
I just remember the LHM days where you would power through like 2-3 a day.
It was 3.
3.
It was
Yeah.
3 a day, and a liter of cola. It seemed like.
Jesus.
I don't miss those days either.
No.
I saw some of the boys when I went back, and there's only one of them's there anymore. And like I still got people like who text me and go, "Hey, are you still there?" I'm like, "Nope, here's my boy." So
yeah, hope he's doing well too. I don't either. I still got some contacts there though. Rich is gone now, which is kind of sad. But
Steve's gone too.
Yeah, Steve's gone too. But yeah, man, just I mean, getting back to like kind of how this all started, bro. Like you got to think about just like the journey that we've been on. Because we started out, we had maybe it was my younger brother and your younger brother that were our main listeners.
Yeah.
And then picked up some traction, got sponsored, left our sponsorship, started our own collective, and now we're here sponsoring our own. Yeah, we got companies on companies. But it's just, dude, yeah, it's been wild, man, to say the least. But
it's been weird because it's like in the span of 3 years, we went from indie to being with said previous company who we choose not to name any further, to now where we are now. And I mean, what's almost coming up on almost a year now of us starting and producing 5GSN. I mean, it's been crazy. That's for sure. So
yeah.
And I mean, shit, everyone's lives have fucking gotten crazy. Like,
yeah,
you guys know all the fucking crazy shit I'm up to. Which, by the way, when we have our meeting next week,
Mhm.
I have more to add now after one of my trips, so
There you go.
it got nuts real quick, like really quick. So,
Dude,
um,
it always seems like every time something happens, it's something just like, dude, like how? Like, what? Why are you in that situation right now, Jared? It seems like, honestly, of some of the stuff that's happened, like it's been wild behind the scenes. I'll give you that.
it's like all of a sudden it's like, hey, like because nobody knew I was going to Colorado. Nobody. It
Mhm.
was radio silent. Even my buddy who I was intentionally going up to go see, he had no fucking idea.
Dude, you
He had no
surprised
clue.
me. You surprised me when you were like, "Hey, like, come down to Blake Street." I'm like, "Huh?" Like,
Yeah, I'm like, we're going out to One Up. Every time we go to Rockies game, we always go to One Up. We used to go to Howl at the Moon, but that shit fucking closed, which really sucks. We loved Howl at the Moon.
you know what's even more sad about closures?
Blake Street Tavern.
Blake Street Tavern.
Yeah, but that one was coming. Unfortunately, I could kind of see the writing on the wall on that one.
Yeah.
Like even like the only people who knew were my buddy's wife and two of the boys that I played hockey with in high school because we were trying to plan where we were going to go golf.
Mhm.
And that was it. Nobody knew. Like my family knew because I did set up places to stay, but that was it. I mean, it was few and far between of who knew we were coming back and who didn't know we were coming back. So I mean, that's how close we played it to the chest. Honestly, I mean,
Jeez.
shit, I would have told you guys, but I was like, don't want something. You know me. I don't want something getting out. So
Yeah.
In non-Colorado sports news, though, really quickly, I keep looking behind your dome there.
Yeah.
And I see that Arenado jersey. Do you see he's probably going to the Dodgers?
What did I say was the one thing I didn't want to happen when he left us for the Cardinals?
He's just going to bounce clubs.
He's going to bounce clubs until he gets to the Dodgers.
He's from California. I get it. He's trying to win a ring.
Mhm.
You're not going to do it in Colorado.
No, but to their credit, since All-Star break, they've won every single series. It just got embarrassed by the A's last night, but happens.
Here's the
I
thing.
don't know.
Nobody in the state of Colorado is going to give a fuck about the Rockies until they have a new ownership group. And everybody wants the Rockies. And I don't blame them. I don't.
Yeah.
Like, you look at the way they handled the trade. You paid $50 million to get rid of the best third baseman in franchise history. And you got back really nothing.
Austin Comber.
His wife's got a cool TikTok account.
Yeah.
That's all I've got, man. I mean, Marquez is out. Senza's out. Freeland just came back last night after separating or doing something to his shoulder. Chris Bryant can't fucking stay healthy.
They're just with the Rockies. Yeah, you're waiting for that ownership to kind of flip because you've got one of the biggest mistakes of a trade ever for a team. Like I'm pretty sure what the Angels did with Ohtani and like a big reasoning for them is for them like trying to keep him is they're taking a look at the Rockies with Arenado. I bet you someone on their analytics team was like, okay, like what's in it for us if we let go a honest to God generational talent? Because that's what they were
since Babe Ruth.
Yeah. And Arenado, you could say the same thing at his peak. Like, as far as third baseman goes, if there's like a third baseman version of, like, I don't know. He had a great bat and was a perennial Gold Glover. And it's tough when you look at that trade and then you look at the lack thereof of trades, especially last year when you could have gotten rid of guys for significantly more value. Looking at guys like CJ Cron, you know, the one thing that's surprising about the Rockies to me is their bullpen's playing really well right now. But other than that, like
I'll be honest, I don't watch them.
It's been for the month of July.
Dude,
like,
I can watch them because I don't live in Colorado, and I have access to them on ESPN Plus, and I still will not watch them. I won't.
Yeah.
I can't get invested in it. I just can't. It's just.
Yeah. I mean, they were the only club last year to not make a trade at the trade deadline.
Buddy, we went to Coors just to see the fireworks and to get a right field red from the Sandlot. That's all we did. The only reason we went. No other reason. And we're just like, it's not worth it to even care about that franchise. It's really not.
No, until something happens. Until you see something happen with the ownership, really.
Until someone comes in and says, I want to spend a fuckload of money. I'll pay the luxury tax. I don't care. Sorry, Sadie. I know you don't like the F word. I'm sorry. I'll pay the luxury tax. I'll do all the things the Dodgers do. I'll do all the things the Giants do and the D-backs do and everybody else does to try and win championships. Nobody's going to care. Nobody. You'll have these few off years. Well, okay, you'll get lucky. You'll get a Greg Holland who comes in and who comes back into form for a year. A Wade Davis who has an unreal year and resets the save record. That I don't think he reset the save record for the Rockies.
He got pretty close
because Greg Holland did it.
It was like
Sing 1-0 has a great year from the fucking Blue Jays. Mm-hmm. Kyle Freeland has a rookie an outstanding rookie year. Like you'll have all these things and then they just go to shit. And it's like one-offs every 10 years.
Yeah.
Literally, look at it. 2007, 2017. It's a 10-year deal. We won't see a good team again for another 4 years.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's just the way the fuck it is.
Unfortunately, it's kind of ingrained in their culture, dude. Like, you got the opposite of what's happening with the Avs and the Nuggets happening to the Rockies, where you got players that are celebrating leaving that franchise, you know? Like, guys like Trevor Story get a chance to go win something. Like,
I don't understand it. And
no.
It's fine because I just don't care to.
Mm-hmm.
And because it is what it is. And when you have 2 teams out of 4 who are going to be contenders for the next 3 years, more than likely, I have a hard 3-year cap on the Avs, in all honesty. Before I think we go back down to being just kind of mid cards.
Mm.
It's just hard to get invested. I mean, like, yeah, I'm wearing a Rockies hoodie. It's 60 degrees in my fucking. It feels like it's 60 degrees. This is literally from that playoff run.
09?
No, from
07?
fucking 18.
18.
From 2018 when they lost to Milwaukee after beating the Cubs in the wild card game in the 14th inning.
I gotcha. See, my Rocktober shirt, I think, is from 07.
I had one of the hats, but I lost it on a family vacation one year. I was kind of upset about it. They said World Series on it and everything. But I have a World Series ball up here too, so it's fine.
Dude, I've lost a vintage Avalanche Yeti hat. My Yeti hat, I lost it.
You did?
Yeah. One of the biggest, that was tough. It's somewhere in the South.
I just pinned some muscles in my shoulder, dude. Damn.
Jeez.
Oh, that's my repaired shoulder too. That's the worst part. All right, let's get on with it. I want to talk about the Avs first for the first, I don't know, a little bit here, and then we'll spend a decent amount of time on the Nuggets because they fucking deserve a little more time. I'm just telling you guys now, I'm breaking this into 2 episodes because our schedules get fucked again. So, and with Sierra back to work, my schedule is definitely fucked. So, I had higher expectations for this team this last season. I did much higher than a first round.
Both of us, man.
The thing though, in retrospect, hindsight's always 2020. We were bitching and complaining in January about how this team doesn't look as good as they did last year.
Sadie making an appearance on the pod.
Oh my god, we were bitching and moaning about how they weren't as good as they were last year. That should have been the red flag. That should have. Eternal optimist, homers, fanboys, whatever you want to call it. We disregarded it. It is what it is. And if it wasn't for Georgiev having one of the best years I've seen a goaltender have in a long time for Colorado, I don't count Darcy Kemper. Darcy Kemper was dog shit. They're not a playoff team. They weren't. Plain and simple.
Last year?
Mm-hmm. But Georgiev, they're not.
I mean, they won the Central. They won the Central despite it being, yes, I agree with you, like literally a cursed season in my eyes looking back at it. Because you had so many key pieces out. I think they were a playoff team through and through. Just it's more reminiscent of us losing to Dallas in the second round, except it happened a round earlier because we were down Landy. Manson was looking like a legitimate ghost out there because he was still coming back from an injury. I mean, you had Kale suspended for that one game because of some non-trivial BS. You had, you quickly come back to realize that we spent so much time hyping up the fact that Colorado's top 3 to 6 was so much better than Seattle's, but Seattle basically buried us in 4 lines of, we'll throw this out, we'll throw this out, we'll throw this out. And it worked. Like, I think they were a playoff team.
They buried us in 4 lines who wanted to work hard.
Yeah. Plain and simple. We didn't have the bodies, really, when it came down to it. Like, you think about the dudes that we had out, like, to me it's more reminiscent of the Dallas year when we lost to Dallas game 7. Because when it did go 7 games, it's kind of that reminiscent more of that for me.
Which
because
time?
That's
2020 or 2000?
2020. Man, but like,
I have too deep of a history hockey, like a hockey
dude,
history bank. It's fucking bad.
We've been around long enough to see both the Avalanche and the Nuggets go from being perennial places where players would go to die to, they both rebuilt the right way. And now you're here with both squads at the same time, essentially. There was a glorious month where the Avs were technically still Stanley Cup champions because the Vegas series hadn't finished out yet and the Nuggets had won. And we could say we had both trophies here, But looking back on this team, dude, for the Avs, I feel like it was just a cursed year for them. Like, you come off that deep playoff run for the first time, in however many off seasons you can name. I'm sure the team didn't have that sort of, fire in them to win it because they had just won it and they were celebrating. Like, the celebration videos were legendary. But when it's all said and done, bro, that's a team that still locked up the Central, despite having guys like Manson out for most of the year, Byram, McKinnon, Kale, Landy, Nuke. I mean, you name it, bro. Very reminiscent of Dallas to me.
Here's the thing I'm concerned about. Okay. And here's why I have such a hard cap on 3 years for Colorado. The youth is not there. It's not. And I kind of wish, I don't know if Bailey's still watching or not. I really don't know. She might be able to speak this a little bit better, but I'm not getting a ton of excitement out of this youth that's in Loveland anymore. The excitement's not there for me anymore. Like,
I mean, we traded most of it away, dude. We traded away a lot of tantalizing pieces.
I mean, Annunen, when he comes up, he hasn't played well. He hasn't. Fucking flat out has not played well. In like 4 total NHL games, his goals against is in the low 4s, in the mid 3s. Both sub 8.6 save percentages. Like, that's not good. In Loveland last year, 41 games, 254 goals against the 916. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But then 3 games in the playoffs, he gives up fucking 4 a game.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not exactly sold on him anymore. We have him RFA, but that's fine. Malinsky, I think it will be interesting. Wyatt Amat, I'm so up and down with him, man. It's fucking ridiculous. JLF, I don't.
I'm high on JLF, bro.
He's got to show something. Olesen, I was not impressed with this season at all either.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
JLF as a winger, because they were playing him wrong for a little bit. But if you could get JLF on the wing with like some of the acquisitions that we've had over the offseason, that could be very interesting. You know, you hope it doesn't come down to that because you want the team to stay healthy. But
Kovalenko could be interesting. I'm interested to see what happens with Kovalenko. He's going to go stay in the K. It doesn't matter. He's staying in the KHL.
Well, basically,
that'll be interesting because he was point per game last year in the KHL.
Dude, he has a very different game than most KHL players too, which is why the Avs went after him.
Right.
Because that's like a game that's like a league to our more like casual viewers who don't live and breathe hockey as much as Jared and I and the 5GSN crew. KHL hockey's unbelievable to watch. If you get a chance to watch a game or like, you know, somehow, you know, find a game, watch it because it's all skill based. Like, you know, you're dealing with bigger rinks. But Kovalenko, he's a guy that, you know, no doubt is very skilled, but then he's also one of the few people in that league who's not afraid to lay the body and mix it up, to where, and you're completely right, Jared, like the only really like big change of news that came out of that was that basically the KHL season is about a month ahead of the NHL, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you think about it, you know, if their team makes playoffs, their run theoretically ends in March if they go deep. And by that point, bro, the Avs could either use them or they could have no need for them. Because after the KHL season's up, he can come right over to America if he wants to. And like, just geopolitically right now, with everything that's going on in that part of the world, it makes sense for more Russian players to start doing that. It's just a matter of which clubs are going to open up their doors. But the Avs already have that presence with Georgiev, Nichushkin. You know, they kind of have a little bit of a pipeline of Russians. So it makes sense to bring on a guy like Kovalenko. I think that's a very interesting, like, you could slot him into, like, I'm not going to say top 6 because our top 6 is insane, but his upside's probably middle 6 for the Avs, which is saying something.
Okay, let's ask this question: do the Avs get better or worse in the offseason?
I mean, I think they got better, bro.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'm guessing you think they got a little bit worse.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I like this.
I mean,
let's get into it.
Defensively, they're fine. You lost nobody. You lost Eric Johnson. Okay. Longest tenured athlete in Colorado sports now it's Charlie Blackmon.
Crazy.
Like it
that's actually crazy.
Right. Imagine that. Fucking Charlie Blackmon's the guy.
Jeez.
You know I love Miles Wood. You know I love Ross Colton. I'm really excited about those two guys. I don't know about. I love the Ryan Johansson pickup for the penalty kill. I think that's great. I don't think he's a 2C, and I think you fucking overpaid for him. I do. Drouin, if he can get his ass in gear and play with McKinnon like he did in Halifax in the early 2010s, sure, it might be a little bit of a different conversation come fucking December. I don't know. Just on paper, he's got a lot of shit he's got to do. Like, it's a 1-year prove-it deal. He's on the same deals as Valerian Nichushkin was. Do I think he's got the same skill and drive as Nichushkin? No, I don't.
Well, different players, really. Nichushkin's more of looking back on that situation with Nuke, it's like all he really needed was confidence, bro.
Nuke was taken 10th overall. Drouin was taking 3rd.
Yeah.
I understand the pressure was on Drouin, right? I get it. Same with Neil Yakupov, all that same shit, right?
If you were traded 1-for-1 for Mikhail Sergachev, and then Mikhail Sergachev pops off, like, that's an insane amount of pressure trying to deliver for Montreal. Like, but yeah, I mean, to your point, he's had. Jeez. Okay, hang on. I'm getting into his stats here.
He was on a 6-year 5.5 AAV deal. Here were his total points in those years, by the way. 46, 53, 15, 23, 20, 29. He hasn't played a full 82-game season. The closest he ever got was in 18-19. We played 81, put up 53 points. Great. In the playoffs, though, I will say, in the playoffs, he's a different guy.
Dude, he went off.
He reminds me a lot of fucking JT Compher, where it's like he's hidden in the regular season and then shows the fuck up. Well, he's got to show the fuck up now, because here's what he's expected. Here's what's expected of him. Halifax Mooseheads 2012-2013, the year before the year of Nathan McKinnon's draft year.
Yeah.
49 games, 41 goals, 64 assists, 105 points. I get it. You're playing with Nathan McKinnon. You're going to score a fuckload of points. It's like playing with Connor McDavid, apparently, in the Canadian League. But, like, he's
to your point, Jared.
I don't know. I want to be. I want to be excited about this move. I really, really do. My issue is he's also minus 86 in his career.
And he's with Montreal. Let's be real.
Granted, minus 28 and 17-18 with Montreal and minus 18 last year.
Yeah.
He can't stay healthy.
Well, he's kind of had like he's kind of had some off ice issues also. We're not going to really get into that, obviously.
Well, speaking of off ice issues, we got Valerian Nichushkin. What the fuck's his status?
Yeah, I mean, with Drouin, I mean, to your credit, Jared, 5-6 years ago, you know, kind of had like a nice sort of pop in goals with 18. But then to your point, the last 4 or 5 years combined, he hasn't reached 18 goals. it's all been like 3 here, 5 here, 6. Like it's wild. So like, I get your point. Like I get why you could be reserved more so about like the Drouin stuff, but like you also have to remember that's most likely your top line, right? You're pairing him back with Lekanen, who he's familiar with, and they had a run to the cup all on their own essentially, and you're pairing him back with Mac, who's legitimately I think is the best player in hockey right now. Sorry, McDavid. Like I'm sorry, but not sorry at the same time. Like, and I could see it from your perspective though. Like, if things go wrong throughout the season, which like it's hockey, anything can happen. It could be awful, but like he's gonna be the distributor up there, like the Drouin that powered Montreal to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, that's a dude who's skill wise. Like he's got it still, dude. If we're going off, the last 3 years, but it's whether he can play a full year of hockey, really. But thinking about it, dude, it's like, what is there not a better spot to go and refine your game than Colorado right now? Tell me, yes or no. Simple question.
One more time. What?
Is there not a better spot in the league to go to refine your game that's not Colorado?
I can think of one other place.
Name it.
Boston.
Right now? State of right now? Bergeron gone, and
the whole reason why I say that is because look at the way that Jim Montgomery runs his team. No bullshit. You're there to work, and you're going to work hard.
You can say the same thing about Bednar, though.
You can 100%, but Monty has guys who are going to go a little bit further, right? Who are going to take a little bit of that edge to the game. And Monty's a fiery motherfucker, right? Bedsy's a little more reserved, which I love. Don't get me wrong. I love that Bedsy's a little more reserved. When he gets pissed, he's fucking pissed. But like I would love just to see. I don't know. I just don't know. And we still got $2 million of cap space to play with because we've only used up almost 5 of Landy's LTIR.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the reality. Mikko's up soon. He's got 2 years left on his deal. 2. That's it. Lekkonen's got 4. Ross Colton just got that 4 deal.
Yeah.
LOC's got 2 left. Landy's under contract for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That Miles Wood deal was a fucking steal.
You get him for 6 years, bro.
Yeah, at 2.5. That's insane.
Like
That's
that.
a team-friendly deal.
Oh,
the cap's going to go up. That's the thing. The cap's going up.
Definitely, dude. Like you're seeing value all over the place in their bottom 6. Because, I mean, obviously, you and I have a little bit different feelings on Drouin. Like, I think there's going to be a little bit more of a spark. You're like, more, let's wait and see. But, like, I'm so excited about these other additions, bro. Like, give me Ross Colton and LOC on the same third line every single day. Like, those are 2 dudes who fought each other.
Ben Myers has got an NHL deal. Like, I don't.
Look,
I don't know about him. I could, like, if he picks it up, then sweet. If he doesn't, then whatever. I just there's too many question marks for me right now to say they've gotten better or they've stayed the same even.
See, interesting because last year's team, right? We had full expectations to just run it back, have not a care in the world, hope that guys like Newhook could step up into a 2C role. And I'll tell you, getting Georgiev at under $4 million, one of the best moves they made. Like that is a legitimate top 10 goalie, borderline top like 7 to 8 to 9, depending on how healthy our defense is this year. And look, man, they didn't know. Obviously, with hindsight, they didn't know Landeskog's thing was going to be out. It was going to be all year, right? The entire season. Hindsight, if they would have known that coming into the year, they probably would have signed a guy like Ryan Johansson. The stuff that they're doing this offseason, what I'm alluding to, they should have done last year in order to stay competitive. But what you're seeing them do is replace Landeskog and all the little facets that he brings to the game with certain players. You got Drouin, who handles the playmaking. You've got, Drouin, who picks up like the playmaking side of it. You've got Ross Colton, who's a legitimate dog, who can score 20 goals easy with this team, 20 to 30. Give or take. He could push for 40 goals if stuff breaks right and he gets into.
I think you're being a little advantageous there.
Maybe
just a little.
Call it 30.
His cap is 25.
Call it 40 points. 40 points. Like 40 to 45 points.
I cap him at 25 goals ever, and that's like an unreal year for him.
I don't know, man. He produced in Tampa. They couldn't keep him. He's got an edge to him. He's got that competitive edge. I mean, we saw it come out when him and LOC went toe to toe.
I think 40 points is fair. I think 25 goals is the maximum though.
25 max. See, you get Miles Wood too, who is a consistent threat to score on your bottom line. Whenever he's on the ice, bare minimum, he's going to give you 10 goals. Bare minimum. You're not going to be throwing, let's see what, like we're actually going to have a legitimate threat to score on that fourth line.
Let me ask you this. Okay, let's ask this question. We know the goalies and defense didn't change. Frankie's still locked up for another year. Georgiev's locked up for another 2.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play. Well, let's play the fun game of what would have happened.
Okay.
Does Colorado get further in the playoffs if Georgiev doesn't have to start 62 games in the regular season?
Yes.
Goalies aren't built that way, unfortunately. In my opinion.
Did you say more or less? I'm sorry.
Less. He starts less than 62 games.
Okay, yeah.
He started 62 games. Frankie had 16 starts. Jonas Johansson had 2. Justus Annunen had 2. I mean, he had 26 goals saved above average. I don't know. Were there a lot of things that went wrong? Yeah, of course there were. But I'm not confident enough with what we have in the farm system anymore, and what we have moving forward at this point.
That's fair. I mean,
it's not.
In my eyes, like we gotta. We're taking a look at this like Tampa Bay has the past few years, to where we are in our win now window. And you need to do basically whatever you can to prolong that window as far as extend it. Signing Miles Wood to a 6-year deal at 2.5, great way to do that.
I don't know how I feel about Jack Johnson coming back. I really don't.
Chemistry.
I think it'll be fine in the short term. I don't know about long term. And I mean, really, who are we going to pull up from Loveland to take care of that?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I mean, Curlman, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, to your point,
he spent way too much time in the coast for me.
Yeah,
Schoonman, who we just picked up from Montreal, he just kind of got buried in the AHL on a shitty Montreal team, which tells me a little bit more than I care to.
One of the things we got to talk about is Schneeks taking over as head coach.
Yeah, because
I feel like the Eagles culture is just going to get that much better down there for him. I mean, you more so than me, you know, like that's just a great move in my opinion.
Give it 2 years, Colorado wins the AHL. 2 years. That's all it's going to take. And it's not going to be because of Schneeks. I'll tell you that right now. Schneeks is a hell of a coach. Do not get it twisted. I love Aaron Schneekloth as a head coach. I fucking love that. Okay? But the groundwork is laid by Greg Cronin. The Avs win in 2 years. It's Cronin's team. It is. Yeah. It's all the things that he set up and he prepared for to get them to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Schneeks is going to drive the bus 100%. And we all know Schneeks is no bullshit. He's a no bullshit guy.
Yeah.
And he's a winner everywhere he's been. He won as a player. He's won as a coach. And in the American League and or not the American League, the Coast. Then grab a toy and play with it. Don't yell at me. He's won as a coach. He has an outstanding winning record as a coach. I have to go back and find the tweet to allude to it that we put out there. It's going to be Cronin's groundwork, but how is Schneeks going to grow on top of it? Cronin was the right man to take over when we went to the American League. 100% he was the right man for the job. He's now going to get his chance in the show, which he fucking deserves.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado still has yet to miss the playoffs. The Eagles have yet to miss the playoffs in their existence.
Boom, mic drop.
Like, the culture up there is about winning and being successful. You don't have bad seasons in Loveland. You don't. Part of the reason, you're skating at fucking 6,000 feet. Second piece of that, there's not a night where that barn isn't fucking loud.
Mm-hmm. And culturally, what it does to the Avs, I mean, it's a big part of what boosted their culture to the point to where they just won a cup.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this at length years ago, to where we were like, the link between Loveland and Denver is going to do wonders for the state. We got DU pop it off too for good measure. Yeah.
Let's put it this way. Here's what I project happening next 5 years Colorado hockey, and then I want to talk about the Nuggets. In the next 5 years for Colorado hockey, Colorado College needs to be better. They need to be competitive in the NCHC. They have to be.
Like back when we were kids, competitive.
Oh yeah, when them and
they
were beating the shit out of each other in WCHA. Yeah, back then.
Those games were
those fucking
legit.
Gold Band games were nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Air Force has to become a little bit better. They have to.
Air Force, to their credit, they're one of those like just spoiler type hockey teams, to where. But I've seen some great Air Force games in my in my tenure. Great games. I mean, hell, they knocked off CC one year,
Mhm.
which is huge for a service academy to do that.
Dude, they beat Michigan one
They
year.
beat Michigan.
In the tournament, they beat Michigan.
Yeah.
Like they had an unreal year that year, and then they lost on like double overtime on a puck that went through the net. It was the craziest shit I've ever seen.
Mhm.
Now you
But
have
they've fallen from grace a little bit. I will say
100%.
that. Yeah.
And now you have a North American League team up in Greeley, a Tier 2 North American Hockey League team in Greeley, Colorado.
Really?
Now, what needs to happen after that? They need a United States League team in there. They need a Tier 1. They need a Tier 1 junior team in Colorado. And you know where it's gonna fucking work? South Suburban Ice Arena, the brand new one they just built down off of 470. Perfect fucking place for it. Or put in Superior, up at Sports Stable.
Yeah.
But you have to put a D1 team there. Not a D1. You have to put a Tier 1 team there. All the Colorado teams are USPHL junior teams. It's great. Don't get me wrong. USPHL is a fine league. It's not the North American. It's definitely not the United States League. To grow that game, the Avs have to be involved. They have to. They don't have a fucking choice. They need to be involved. The Iowa Wild of the American League, the American Hockey League, help the Des Moines Buccaneers in the United States League. They help them out. They help push people to those games. Sierra will attest this. Those Buccaneers games that they're old. They just built a new one, but apparently the old one was a shit, like a piece of shit. They just did that. They just built a new arena, and going to those games, it's crazy. There ain't shit to do in Des Moines on a Friday night in December. There's no fucking corn to go pick.
Yeah.
The Hawkeyes are in a bowl game, and nobody wants to go to fucking Ames to go see Iowa State play who the fuck ever in the Big 12. There ain't fuck all to do. So what do? They go to Buccaneers games. There's just in my geographical region, there are 12 Tier 3 or Tier 2 junior teams just in Texas, New Mexico, Louisiana. Those 3 states, the contiguous 3 states right there. 12 teams. Why? I've been saying this for years. I'm so glad it finally happened. I've never understood why Colorado never had a North American League team. I still don't understand why Colorado doesn't have a United States League team. I'm not going to get on that fucking bandwagon right now or on that fucking diatribe because it's just going to be a shit show for the next 20 minutes. We're not going to do that because I want to talk about the Nuggets. And it's a great thing that Colorado now has a null team. It really is. It's huge. Because what's gonna make them successful is doing what the University of Miami did in the 90s and 2000s. You wrap a border around Wyoming, Utah, Nebraska, Kansas. If you're lucky, you can get Oklahoma. Probably not. Actually, not Oklahoma. Arizona and California. You wrap that up. And you call it the state. You call it the state of Colorado Null Hockey. All you do is you go and take those fucking good ass players, all the best players from those regions, put them in a spot where everybody wants to be in Colorado. Okay, not everyone wants to be in Greeley, but you want to be in Colorado. And what are UNC kids gonna go do on a Friday night when the Bears are down playing fucking Metro?
Yeah.
In Westminster. They're going to go to the Null game. I'm telling you, that place is going to be sold out more nights than it's not. There is going to be a buzz around that community, around that team. And it's going to be insane. Do I think they're going to be competitive their first year? No. Okay, take out the Golden Knights. Hardly ever is there an expansion franchise that does well in the first year. The hardest part is going to be the travel because they got to go to fucking Alaska 3 times to 3 different areas in Alaska.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's a long fucking haul.
Yeah.
But I would say if you get a chance to go to Greeley, go see a Null game. I want to say their home opener is like September 8th or some shit like that. I would go do it.
Okay.
It's
Check it
I
out.
don't know what tickets are gonna be like. I know they have a liquor license. Fuck it. Go have fun.
Yeah, definitely. Fun to check out. Real quick though, to close out the Avs segment here, you and I are for the first time in a hot minute on very two different trains of thought with this team. I think their window got extended a little bit with this offseason. You seem to think it's a little bit more on the short end of the stick. As far as like your window being open for being competitive. One thing that I'm sure we can both agree on is that the Nuggets have the opposite. Like they're set in stone, going to be, a contending team for probably the next decade. And that's not me.
That might be a little far. 7 years for sure.
Next
7 years.
7 years. Next
5 to 7, they'll be good. I think 2030 is the cutoff.
Basically, the rest of the decade.
If we want to look at it in a wider scope, and this is why I'm pretty much out on the Avs after about 3 years. If we go back, okay, let's go back on both ends. When did Colorado's window open?
I mean, for the Avs, it was, basically
17,
19, 20,
17,
18, 19, 18.
17, 18 when you beat Calgary in first round. Your window's open. Because you're like, okay, we're out of the first round. Toronto's like, oh, it's our year. Bro, Toronto's window has been fucking closed for over a decade.
Yeah.
And they finally made it to the second round. I qualify that as their window now being open.
Mm-hmm.
The Nuggets, when did their window open?
I mean, I
feel like you and I are going to have a different answer on this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you right now.
Yeah. You go first.
The bubble. That was their window open. And if you look at it, take out the Jamal Murray injury,
mm-hmm.
They would have been playoff contenders. They would have.
Yeah.
No matter what, they would have been playoff contenders.
For me, their window opened a little bit before the bubble. I think their window opened the year that they made the playoffs and lost. Because before that,
to Utah in 7?
No,
or
they lost to San Antonio. That was when their window opened because you had an upstart guard in Jamal Murray who averaged 19, 20 points a game. You had Jokic who was just coming up doing his triple-double stuff. With that team, dude, because you got to remember, before that year, before they just broke back into the playoffs, they had 2 years in a row where they go to a game 83 to decide who gets the last spot.
Okay, you're talking about 18-19. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And for 2 years, they could not get into the playoffs. And then before that, I mean, all the stuff that happened with, back when the Nuggets were repping guys like Roy Hibbert Jr. and
Juancho Hernangomez.
Juancho I actually really liked as a player. He was cool.
Okay, Trey
Lyles. Yeah, like you had guys, I mean, you had coaches, you had players that did not want to be here. It was down bad. It was reminiscent of like Avs Abs.
No, I'm not talking
Whoa,
about that year
whoa,
ever again.
whoa,
I
whoa,
just
whoa,
stopped
no.
talking about that year.
No, never mind. I won't say that. You're right.
I'm
Um,
not talking about that year ever
But
again.
the Nuggets, the Nuggets after letting Melo go, those next 3 or 4 years, dude, it was tough being a Nuggets fan. Because they did not win a lot of games. They did not. But fast forward to right now, it's kind of the same thing you saw with the Avs, dude. They went from a place where players would go just to play, and most likely have their careers kind of die out, into it became a place because of the culture instilled to where people it flipped. It became championship or bust, and then they delivered on it. You had players that wanted to go to Denver for the first time. Because, people forget, like, that year we played the Warriors in, like, 16, 17. Or the first time we played the Warriors in, like, the Steph Curry era, so it was more like 13, 14, I think. I'm getting my years mixed up.
12, 13.
12, 13.
Was that Steph Curry's first year for real? Oh, shit,
One
it
of
was.
them.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so. But, dude, from the get-go, Andre Iguodala sold that series for the Warriors. George Karl's very publicly open about this still to this day. Like, he still pops off on Twitter about it occasionally. And like, you saw a culture shift from even that to where the Nuggets for the longest time were just a team that made the playoffs, was really fun to watch in the regular season, and then they would get destroyed. They would get shit on. Partially because they had to deal with really good Lakers teams. Whenever they were good, they would run into a prime Kobe. But they changed the culture, dude. It suddenly became a place to where players wanted to go to win.
Okay, I don't hate your reasoning on this. I don't. Let me tell you though about why I still think the bubble is still the correct answer.
Yeah.
What happened in those first 2 series?
Down 3-1. Big deficits.
That was the series. That was when I really started heavily watching the Nuggets, right? I started heavily watching them. Now I watch them anytime they're on national TV. I don't fucking care. That was the time where I went, okay, these guys are going to be fucking world beaters. For the sole reason that you're down 3-1 in 2 different series against 2 pretty damn good teams in Utah and the Clippers.
Clippers were odds-on favorites to win it that year.
And by the time you get to LA, you're gassed out. I fully get it. It's fine. But leading up to that, that was kind of like it was the holy shit moment of this team is that fucking good. Because they showed how good they were. And once they just kind of they need to get in a groove. Now the next year they won the first round without Jamal Murray, losing the second round. Okay, whatever, fine. Whatever. Not that big of a deal, right? And then you drop it to Golden State again without a Jamal Murray again. Jamal missed 2 straight playoff series. 2 straight. You get Jamal back, you win the whole goddamn thing. And do it in convincing fashion, might I add. Like, it's just there's not a lot that that points to it being that window starting in the 1920 season, going through the bubble, obviously, that doesn't tell me that that was their window, because all that did was prove for them was that proved that they were able to hang. Now let's go back for the Avs. We could say 16-17 when they got in as a wild card and played Nashville, won a couple of games, whoop-de fucking do, guts all over the place, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't a team that was supposed to be anywhere near the playoffs.
No.
And now the next year you come in as a wild card again. It didn't take game 82, it took game 81 this time, so we're getting better. And then you kick the shit out of Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
Who everybody said Flames in 3. Everybody was saying Flames in 3.
I remember that.
And you kick the shit out of them. In obvious fashion, you kick the shit out of them. And then you go and drop a game 7 to San Jose after winning game 6 in OT at Pepsi Center, not Ball Arena at the time. That right there was the window opening for Colorado, 17-18 season. Like I said, 3 years. Hockey's a little bit more different than basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hockey is a hard salary cap. Basketball, yeah, you can fuck with it a little bit, pay the luxury tax, no big deal.
Yeah.
And you can give out these fucking super maxes and all this other crazy shit, and you do all these things where you can stay a contender for 10 years. 1920 was the first year the Nuggets were contenders. Flat out, they were contenders because they showed they could handle themselves. The next 2 years was a mental battle of, can we do this without Jamal? The answer is no. We all knew the answer was no anyways.
Yeah.
But you saw how much of an integral part he was to that team. Jokic was able to show how badass of a dude he is. And then you turn that around after 2 seasons. There you are. The more I talk about this, though, the more I'm going, those 2 teams are way too fucking similar.
Yeah.
It's really throwing me off.
Dude, what did I say? What did I legitimately say for like 3 episodes in a row with the Nuggets and the Avs before the Nuggets won it? What did I say?
2 best seasons in modern history, really, for both?
2 best playoff runs.
Yeah.
They both went 16-4. Did I not say?
Colorado's was the best in a long time. Very long time.
Yeah. Like in modern history, in the modern era, we'll say. Because there were some teams in the 80s and stuff that have runs that are insane in both sports. But 16-4 hadn't been done. I legitimately said, watch the Denver Nuggets get on a roll and go 16-4 in the playoffs. They're 11-1 at home, dude. 11-1 at home. 16-4.
I mean, nobody's going to touch like the Oilers doing it in 18 games when Gretzky was there. No one's ever going to touch that ever.
Unfortunately, no.
I honestly can't even remember like the last time a team was as dominant as they were. Who won that year? Golden State. Golden State the year before played 22 games. Who's this? Oh, that's right, Milwaukee. That was a weird one. Milwaukee played 23 games the year before that. I'm not counting the Lakers in the bubble. Oh, I will. Fuck it. Whatever. Lakers in the bubble.
Nope, don't count.
They played 21.
Okay.
They played 21 games.
I think they went 5-1 every series, really.
Yeah. The Raptors played 24 games. I mean, this is just recent history. Golden State played 21 games. Oh, this is their back-to-backs.
They went like 17-3 1 year.
Golden State won played 17 games in the 2017 playoffs.
Okay, so
4-1, 4-0, 4-0, and yeah, they swept 3 straight series and lost 1 game to Cleveland.
Okay, who did they play in those 3 series?
Pacers, Jazz, Spurs, Cavs.
Okay. They went 17-3.
16-1.
16, Jesus.
Yeah, 16-1.
16-1.
Yeah. I mean,
And then 17 and yeah, throughout the font. Jeez, man.
yeah, that was a dominant team. That's the most dominant playoff series we'll probably ever see. That one. I mean, because they weren't close games either. 121-109. This is all against Portland in the first round. 121-109, 110, here, fuck that shit. Hold on, let's do this. Points. Where's just total stats? Points for. Where's points against? All right, they only gave up 1798 in points, and they scored 2028. Pretty fucking dominant.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit who that is. That's pretty fucking disgusting.
But it's really cool that we can kind of compare the Nuggets run to that.
Yeah. Like
at 16-4. And really you had to go through just villains, bro. I mean, when you think about it.
I mean, what the Nuggets.
I mean, because let's look at it this way, right?
Nuggets scored 2,200 points, though.
How much did they give up?
2,103.
Okay.
So I mean, that spread is a lot closer than the fucking.
But
than the Golden State spread for sure.
That's more so because Golden State kind of pioneered that style of basketball that everyone in the league tried to copy, right? With 3-ball being the main focus,
right?
Like all that stuff. So like naturally, you're gonna see, point totals like rise and stuff over the years, like as you're gonna see with hockey, really, in my opinion, as the league gets more skills, like you're gonna see more goals, like. But with basketball, dude, it's interesting because you look at that Portland team that the Warriors faced, and you said that they swept them, right?
Yeah.
Guess what the Nuggets did to basically that very same Portland team 3 years later? 4-1 them with only Jokic because you had an unhealthy Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray was out. You had Austin Rivers running point. And that was 2 years ago. So you look at the talent of the caliber of talent that the Warriors had to play versus what the Nuggets had to go through. The Timberwolves gave the Nuggets probably their best series. Suns series wasn't worried. Lakers series was not worried. Heat series was not worried. The Timberwolves, damn good team. In a few years, they're going to be really good if they can keep, if they can get over taking away like Karl Anthony Towns as like their main focal point and shifting their focus point to Anthony Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
That's a team that's going to be very scary.
Yeah.
That's a team that is infinitely better than Portland, mind you, as well. Both iterations. The one that Denver beat and the one the Warriors beat. And then you look at the Nuggets' second round. They knock off Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. And then you look at their third round. They knock off LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and they make it look like a cakewalk. And then you beat a very resilient Heat team because the East was down bad that year.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at it like side by side, their runs are like the Nuggets' difficulty of their run, I think, outweighs the Warriors just a little bit. Especially in today's version of the NBA. But it's also the Nuggets' first championship ever, which is something that You know, the Avs have a pretty storied history, for one. For their franchise being around, the 30 years that it has been, it's been a pretty good 30 years.
Yeah.
Nuggets could not say the same up until this year. They were the team that everyone dog walked, everyone made fun of. The people on Twitter roasting it. People who didn't give two shits about basketball. Used to wrote the Denver Chicken Nuggets. It was a national meme, bro. It was Cleveland Browns-esque, right?
It's pretty bad.
And I think I've kind of said this like a little bit before on this show, but for good reason. They were like kind of a joke of a team up until they got serious.
Can we just talk about, too, how the NBA MVP didn't even make it out of the second round?
Funny.
Just saying.
Almost like you need a full team to compete.
Just saying.
Jokic should have won 3 in a row. And because of that, he's going to win one next year.
The Nuggets don't make the playoffs without Nikola Jokic. They don't.
No.
Do the Sixers make it without Joel Embiid? Probably.
Yes, they do.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. The Sixers window closed when Jimmy Butler left years ago. They had a small window. They're still trying to convince themselves that it's open. But, dude, with this Nuggets team, bro, the rise of Jamal Murray, I mean, that's a guy that you're like, if this pans out, it's going to be huge. Because I remember when the Nuggets drafted that dude out of Kentucky, right?
You keep talking. I have to use the restroom.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. When the Nuggets drafted that guy out of Kentucky, he was a freshman, right? Only played 1 year there. And he broke Steph Curry's record for most college three-pointers made in a single season. A record that Steph Curry set when he was a senior or a junior, whenever he went pro. So for Murray to do that as a freshman, and in a John Calipari-led offense, which is very like NBA ready. I mean, the writing was kind of on the wall when that was like the last pick that you get back from the Melo trade, and for the first couple years, it was kind of scary, bro. Like with him, he was very inconsistent. He showed flashes of like really, really high level play, especially when they paired him with Jokic off the bench, because that's a connection that goes back to like all world tournaments and like world junior tournaments where they've played together on teams before, and like very like before Jokic was ever a Nugget and before Murray was ever a member of even the Kentucky Wildcats, they had stints in international leagues to where all this footage is coming out now to where you see their two-man game in stints off the bench. And it's the same damn thing what they're doing right now, dude. Like that combination of players, that duo, and it's why Nuggets fans, our hearts were legitimately crushed when Murray suffered that ACL injury, is because we knew what we had lost in a meaningless regular season game at Golden State.
By the way, I called that it was I don't know if you remember this, but we were talking. I said he just tore his ACL.
Yeah. Non-contact injury, like, goes down like that. I mean, you even hear, because, like, NBA games, like, players get hurt, like, Steph Curry dropped an audible hot mic. You just heard him say, like he just, like, you heard it on the broadcast.
That's what he said.
He said.
Anybody who's trying to figure it out, he said, fuck.
Yeah. And
yes, it is red wine, by the way.
Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah.
I want to drink whiskey right now because I don't want to put it with Coke and
be sleepy. Make you sleepy.
Bro, beer made me almost fucking fall asleep last night. I was like, God, I'm getting old.
But like, I mean, just the loss of Murray for the team, it allowed the team to become the team. Because after Murray went down, bubble year, Jokic hadn't won an MVP yet. He was the guy who just got his shit rocked by AD when AD hit the game-winning overtime 3 in his face. And a lot of people forget that Jokic had the game-winning shot the play before, the previous play. You are one Mason Plumlee switch away from, like, you know, kind of playing a little bit of whataboutism here. But if Mason Plumlee switches correctly on that play, Jokic doesn't look like an ass. And then, you know, potentially AD misses that shot. Who knows? I don't know. But
Mason Plumlee.
Dude. Murray went down. Jokic went god-tier mode to make up for the lack of production, which cemented his status as an MVP player. It also cemented the status of players like Michael Porter Jr. to an extent, because there was a full year where we got to see him as the 2 option before he went down. Because he had his rookie year where he sat out, his first year, and then the last year where he was plagued with injuries again, and then this year. So you had alternating spurts of MPJ, and like seeing what he could do with Jokic, and seeing what he could do, you know, as the second option. And then he went down. So it transitioned to Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon was your top option with Jokic. And in the playoffs, that simply doesn't work, bro. Like, there's teams that can, you know, out-hit that as far as offensively. And as great as Jokic was, but all that pressure that was put on that team, dude, like it coalesced and it formed a legit diamond, like out of the rough, because you get Murray and Porter back, right? That all of a sudden takes the load off Aaron Gordon immensely. Aaron Gordon rolling into this playoff series, he's like, oh shit, I don't have to drop 15 to 20 a night. I just have to focus on defending. Holy shit, this is going to be a breeze. After the shit that I've gone through the past 2 years, this is going to be a breeze. Okay? You get all the experience that you've had with Jokic and his teammates and just all that chemistry. There's a reason why I put money down on them to win it before the season started, after they got KCP and Bruce Brown.
Did you cash that in yet?
It's some of it's still sitting in there a little bit, but I have cashed out a lot of it, a decent amount. But I've also rolled some futures bets with it.
There you go. Yeah.
One of them's like it's like a $40 parlay for the Nuggets and Avs to win it next year, just for funsies, and it pays out a hefty amount because the odds are like plus. Parlayed together, they're plus 800,000. So a 40 spot would get me like 50 grand. Just 40. So that's just a little fun one I've got going on. Nuggets futures, lock them in while you still fucking can, because actually wait to bet on the Nuggets winning the championship this year until something happens in the West that drops their odds, and then bet on, because they're gonna roll that like
they start like 0-6 or something.
Yeah.
Then lock that shit in.
Yeah. Or like a big trade happens in the West. big shakeup happens in the West, and their odds drop somehow.
Outside of the two obvious stars on the Nuggets, who in your opinion was the biggest X factor, biggest contributor to the Nuggets winning? Because there's a few you can pick from.
There's actually quite a few.
It's just who was the most important to you,
dude. There's so many different ways.
I know. See, that's a tough one, huh?
Man,
see, this is why I'm here. I provide the good content here.
You do.
The one where Jared provides good content. That's
There
what
you
this
go.
says. It's a Friends cup, dude. I mean, it's literally a Friends little fucking
There you
wine
go.
glass.
That's
We
funny.
have 4 of these things. They're fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Pour it into your Stanley, why don't you?
Oh, fuck off. Oh, that's dangerous. That's a good idea, though. No, I've already thought about taking the Stanley down to the pool and like lacing it up with just a shitload of whiskey and Sprite.
Yeah, never know.
Oh, that'd be a
You
shit
would
show.
never
Huh?
know. This
Nope.
episode is sponsored by Stanley and 5G and Zen.
No, but if Twizzlers ever wants to fucking sponsor us, I eat these things like fucking crazy. For love of Christ.
There you go.
That'll never happen. Howie's hockey tape, I use them like crazy. Like, come on.
For me, the X Factor, bro, getting back into it, and the X Factor for the last 3 years for the Nuggets, like just overall, Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, Mike, the owner of Kevin Durant's soul off that poster still, Michael Porter Jr. And I could get into that for a number of reasons.
Dude, your thing's mine's weird, but keep going. I'll let you keep going on this. Your thing mine's weird.
Bones Highland.
No.
Weird little segue for a moment, but I'm tying it back in. Just wait until you hear this. Bones Highland couldn't handle the pressure of the Denver Nuggets. He got shipped off. Dream ended for him, right? Probably going to be out of the league in a couple of years when the Clippers decide to ship his ass to China. And I'm not being facetious with that. Dude's down bad over there right now. Like, they're signing guys to actively replace him. Michael Porter Jr. is a warrior, my guy. He went through 3 career-ending surgeries as far as back surgeries go for the NBA. Like, the stuff that he went through as far as the surgical stuff to repair the nerves in his back, lumbar surgery, like 3 different types of lumbar surgery, bro, to alleviate nerve pressure that shoots all the way up your spine to your shooting hand. Like, people do not realize the type of stuff that he went through the 4 years that he was with us. There's a reason why he sat out the first year. There's a reason why his second year he looked incredibly stiff. It's because he wasn't healthy. And when his trainers came out and said, you're getting him at like a 65% that season, when he led the league in 3-point percentage, I was like, this kid's going to be insane if he can get right. And guess what he did, dude? He fought the demons. He got all that bullshit off his back. And this year he became a legitimate defender, a legitimate guy who could buy into the system of winning. He's a guy that could have such a huge ego because he was passed up after being heralded as the number 1 draft pick, like coming out of middle school. Dude was a lock for being the number 1 overall pick in his class, basically. Like, he was on the LeBron James track of being drafted out of high school, but then he decided to go to Missouri, destroyed his back, showed flashes, fell to 14th. Clippers passed on him twice, which is hilarious to me because it, again, goes back to the thing I was talking about, Bones Highland, Clippers, Nuggets, this whole ordeal that we've got with them. And you've got Michael Porter Jr., who's actually survived the fire, right? Because that's a guy who, in the bubble, when you said their window opened, he was openly maligned for a big portion of that run. Because in the first round, especially against Utah, he was a big reason why we were down 3-1. Like, I won't lie. Defensively, he was not there. You had D'Angelo Russell. How's this for a flashback, bro? Utah Jazz D'Angelo Russell. Cooking MPJ. Like, making him look like the 6'10" gangly fool that he was back then. Like, he was cooking him off the line, cooking him inside, cooking him outside on the Utah Jazz. He was a player that could have had such a huge ego If he would have gone anywhere else, bro, you think about it. Just think about it. As far as team culture goes, he goes to a place like Houston, Detroit, any of those teams, any of the bottom half of that of the NBA, he immediately becomes their benefacto #1 guy, and he's probably he's a guy that could put up 30 a game if he wanted to, but he recognizes how good Jokic is and how good Murray is, and he recognizes that there's things that he can do being a 6'10" body that doesn't allow him, he's basically given up his ego of being the focal point of the offense. He's always been the focal point of the offense his entire career. And he said, you know what? This is special. Coach, what do you need me to do to win? If you need me to rebound in the finals, I got you. My shot's not falling. I'm going to get into the paint and cause trouble. X Factor through and through, my guy, Michael Porter Jr. And it has been quite the arc for him. Like, proud of that man.
But I told you you're gonna fucking be so confused with mine.
Okay, I'm excited. But what'd you think about that?
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. MPJ for sure, for a lot of different reasons. But we also knew what MPJ's peak was, and he's still not there. We're still climbing it. We knew what he was gonna be. We knew how good he was gonna be. So yeah, that's why I'm like, was he really good? Yeah. Was he an absolute X factor? He missed some pretty big fucking shots. Couldn't get the lid off a few nights.
Made up for it in other ways, which is what X Factors do.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's mine.
Yeah, my X Factor only played 3 games in the playoffs.
Hey, I know where you're going. Oh, Jared.
DeAndre Jordan.
I like it.
He played 39 games. He was never hurt. Just didn't play. Did he bitch? Did he moan? Did he want to get the fuck out of there? Or did he lead by example? That was the calming presence in the locker room.
Big culture guy.
Like we've preached up and down. This team, this was a culture shift for this team. After the bubble, there's a culture shift. There's this, there's that, there's this, there's that. You had Uncle Jeff and DeAndre fucking Jordan. Talk about a culture shift.
Yeah.
And Uncle Jeff played quite a bit, man. He played 56 games and played in all 20 in the playoffs, even for a little bit on some of them. But especially for those two guys, man, with them winning their first NBA championships too.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really huge. Everybody wanted to win one for DeAndre. Everybody did.
Oh, yeah.
And you could tell. Who did they? And if you watch the end of almost every game, when they're obviously finding Jokic and finding Murray, who was always right there? DeAndre fucking Jordan. For me, an X Factor doesn't have to win you games, especially in retrospect. Okay, if we're talking about like a pre-series talk, yeah, we're gonna talk about who's gonna win you games and what's gonna help the team, right? Mm-hmm. In retrospect, looking back, we can look at things like, he didn't play, but was he a team guy? We could talk up and down about Christian Braun.
Dude, Christian Braun.
We could talk about him all day because he was that fucking good for this team in the playoffs. He just was.
He had some big moments. Bro.
Whose fucking face did he get into? And it was just like the funniest thing in the world. And he got under his skin so bad it fucked him up for the rest of the series. It was in the first round.
It was one of their guards, Shamet, I want to say, Landry Shamet.
Yeah. Hilarious. Got him off his game. And
Christian Braun, dude.
It's Christian Braun, by the way.
Braun.
Braun. Braun.
It is pronounced Brown.
That is fucking stupid. It's Christian Braun for me.
No, it's Brown. You can say Braun all you want.
I'm gonna say Braun.
Okay.
I mean, and the motherfucker's winner everywhere he goes. Kansas.
He is a winner.
Kansas natty, 4-time Kansas State champion.
Mm-hmm.
Goes and wins.
Rookie year NBA champion.
I said the F word. I'm sorry. I'm getting stared at by this little blonde girl over here. She's not happy with me.
I see her.
No,
No,
it's the four-legged one.
for like ooh,
Mm-hmm.
shady,
You have toys. Why don't you just go take a nap, dude? You sleep all day when we're not here.
dude. Christian Brown.
Yeah, the dude just goes off, man. He played 76 games in the reg, 19. Didn't start a single game, by the way. Bench guy,
Mhm.
19. Averaged 13 minutes a game. Like, he averaged 3 points a game. But when he came in, was he an absolute animal?
Dude, do you remember? It wasn't the first game of the regular season when they played the Warriors, but it was like the home opener against the Warriors.
The Warriors home opener?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So not like the first game of the NBA season.
Second
but
game
like
for Nugget, for Denver.
Yeah, second game for Denver. He came in because Bones was having a rough stint. Shocker. And he played the rest of the game. And then they never went back to him until like Christmas. It's like, what are you guys doing? But yeah, he's a winner, bro. Like, won at every single level. Probably would have 2 championships instead of 1 at Kansas. Honestly, we got COVID to thank for that because that Kansas team the year before was damn good also. So if they would have been able to finish out their season, he could legitimately have 5 championships in 5 years off 3 different levels, which is unheard of, really, when you think about it. He's a winner, though. He does all those little intangible things. Like, his intensity is the intensity of a winner.
I just personally loved how Micah Malone also started crying.
Yeah.
During his speech. Big Mike Malone guy.
Mike Malone, man. Don't call him Michael. But the amount of trolling that he was doing.
He still is doing? Yeah.
He still is
He's
doing.
A fucking savage.
It's insane to me. And honestly, bro, I look at this team, I look at what they've gained and what they've lost. And honestly, Bruce Brown, like, see ya, dude. Like, people, there's been a lot of Nuggets fans that think that just because Bruce Brown is leaving, right, and Uncle Jeff is leaving, that this team doesn't have the capability to run it back. Nuggets are in a much more advantageous spot than the Avs as far as repeating for a championship, in my opinion. Their core is locked up, for one. Their youth. Did you get a chance to watch any of their summer league games?
Oh, hell no.
No.
Oh, fuck no. I don't have NBA TV for 1, and 2, I can't watch what's equivalent to the G League.
That's fair. I watched one Nuggets summer league game. One.
You got about 2 minutes, by the way.
Yeah. Hunter Tyson. Nuggets draft pick this year, 2nd round pick. Already looks like an MPJ. Clemson guy, he balled out during this game, dude. He went 8 for 11, 27 points, 9 threes. Or like 11 for he missed like 1 shot that game. Popped off, basically. Delivered them the win. Beat the Heat by himself. It's the only game I watched. He is going to break into their rotation at some point. Jalen Pickett is going to be good. Strouder's going to be good. But we haven't even talked about Peyton Watson yet and what he's going to bring to the club. And when you have your core, your 5 starters basically locked in with Jokic, Murray, Porter, KCP, and Gordon, that starting 5 ain't going anywhere. They're all 26. And I think KCP might be a little bit older, but honestly, dude, they're set up for the foreseeable future. They got guys locked in. Like I think Gordon, KCP, it's like 3 years, and then get Porter, who's like 5, Murray's like 5, Jokic, who's like 6. So, contract-wise, they're looking really good. Watson's still on his rookie deal. Brown's still on his rookie deal. You get a bench of them with like a healthy Colin Gillespie, who this team missed last year, running point. That's a dangerous second unit, dude. Like I think that fully replaces what Bruce Brown gave us. Because you look at the regular season, Bruce he'd give you 11, 12 points a night. Playoffs, he elevated his game because it's the moment. Like, and he had some good games, had 2 20-point games. But the team would have still won without him.
Right.
And you're seeing that sort of Colorado Avs effect happen with the Nuggets, to where Bruce Brown going to Indiana, a little bit of an overpay, probably going to drop off a little bit.
Yeah.
But they're set up, dude. Like there's still so much more that could be said about this team. Like, they're either going to grab the league by the balls next year and fucking squeeze, or, they'll just win another championship. Like, I'm talking like Western Conference Finals is the low bar on the totem right now.
Wow.
This team could fully realize who they are and what they have with Jokic and Murray and MPJ. Because let's be real, dude, they're part of some historic lists now. Historic lists. Jokic just became the first player in league history to lead his team in points, rebounds, and assists. The player to do it before him was LeBron James at 5 years. He's done it for 6 now. You've got Jokic and Murray in finals lists that would, quite frankly, shock you as far as duos. You're talking up there with Kobe, Shaq as far as metrics go. And they're young. Jokic plays a style that's not hard on his body. Wrap it up, dude. The only thing that scares me about the Nuggets going forward is if Jokic decides that he's not interested in playing basketball anymore.
Which could fucking happen.
Which could happen legitimately.
That's a legitimate fucking thing that could happen.
Like, that scares me. But yeah. Sorry, I took 3 minutes to say too.
No, you're fine. So we're gonna start doing something a little bit differently starting today. This is gonna end the Spotify, Apple, fucking you name it, non-video version of the podcast. For those of you on Twitter and on YouTube, head on over to YouTube, youtube.com,
Twitter, whatever.
YouTube.com / Mile High Pundit. We are now going to start doing something that I found about a couple weeks ago on TikTok. And it's a really fun game. I've been having a hell of a lot of fun with it. It's called Puck Doku. It is Sudoku, but you have to name a player who played for both of those teams or had that stat category.
Oh, God.
And you cannot repeat players.
Oh, my good God.
It is so much fucking fun. And we're now going to do it on stream.
Doku. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude.
My best I've ever gotten is 8 out of 9. And it was while we were driving back from Colorado. First player comes to mind. Beth already said it. I was already looking at it anyways. First player comes to mind. Top left, Phil Kessel.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Penguins and Vegas Golden Knights. There you go. And you have to type it in. There you go. Yeah. Fat boy Phil. 30% of people picked Phil Kessel.
Okay.
Rangers Penguins. Probably Jaromir Jagr.
I can see that.
34%, pretty popular. We have a couple options here. Do we want to go with the safe route and just take like Malkin for Penguins and 40+ goal seasons?
We could. Malgin or like Crosby or
I think Malkin did it for sure.
Malgin
Crosby
did it once.
I think
Did Crosby do it once?
That's how it's spelled.
Evgeny?
I thought it was E. Just
No
EVG.
way, dude. No way. That's
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
some Berenstain Bears type stuff right there.
know.
Because I have seen that man's name spelled out before. And it is not Yevgeny. It is
Yeah, it's Evgeny. I mean, that's fine. I'm
That's
trying
wild.
not to look at the YouTube chat right now because I don't want to pick anything off. Who did Vegas take from Vancouver in the expansion draft? I can't fucking remember.
Hang on.
Don't Google it. That's cheating.
No, I'm not thinking.
Even Canucks and
Rangers Canucks.
So I'm going to go ahead and just jump over to the 40+ goals in a single season for the Canucks. I'm going to put Pavel Bure, which 33%. I thought that'd be a little bit less popular, so it's kind of depressing.
33%.
Shit, man, I can't think of who Vegas and the Canucks were.
It's an expansion draft. Oh my god, so much has happened since then, dude.
I know.
Watch it be like someone super inconspicuous, like a backup 10 to get something.
Yeah, some stupid shit like that, right?
Because I'm trying to think of like the big names.
Marchessault came from Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm.
Carlson was Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or was he Carolina? Scheifele was Winnipeg.
It was like Martinez or I don't know, dude.
Okay, we'll come back to that one. Rangers
Canucks.
Canucks.
That's tough, dude. That's tough.
Rangers Canucks is another tough one too.
Yeah, because it's another one of those to where like it's hard to think about players from both.
Actually, hold on. Yaroslav Halak, 4%. Let's go.
Okay,
that's an obscure answer right there.
That is holy shit.
A goaltender. That Halak has gotten around, bro.
He's been everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
Like
40 goals and 40 assists. Didn't Rance have 40 assists this year too? Ranton had 100 some odd points. How many goals?
He had 50 goals. I'd probably say he had over 40 assists.
0.9%. Rangers with 40 assists in a season. Messier, maybe. I'm thinking like Mark Messier. Did Chris Drury? He was always kind of a setup guy.
Drury. I was gonna say Panarin.
No, he didn't have that many assists.
No.
Let's try Drury.
Chris Drury.
Wrong. Shit.
Damn.
Yeah, and you only get 9 chances, so you have to go perfect.
So I got 2 left.
Yeah, I'm.
Oh, okay. This is
okay. So 40 assists for the Knights in a single season. Or he plays on the Knights or played for the Knights and also had 40 assists in a single season with any club.
Wild Bill.
Carlson.
Oh, no.
Yeah, tough.
Okay, so we got three options here. We can either circle back to the Vancouver Vegas dilemma.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Jesus, dude, that's insane. Oh man,
I'm just trying to think of their goalies. Like they're weird ass goalie situation. They've
we've
always
got to
had.
be, or like really
Swat,
obscure,
maybe? No, Brossoit was
obscure defenseman, bro. It's probably like some weird, like obscure defenseman.
Del Zotto never played for them. Fuck me.
Dude,
I'm gonna try this other one. Hold on. 40 assists in a season. Wayne fucking Gretzky.
That's fair.
Nate Schmidt.
Oh! Defenseman.
Son of a bitch.
Damn it.
And then Marchessault was the one who had 40 apples.
Not well, Bill.
Marc-Andre Fleury was Vegas Penguins.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one too. Yager, which is what we picked. Crosby did have the 40 goals. So
okay, so we both got that.
Henrik Sedin.
Oh,
for Vancouver.
Okay.
Vancouver and
New York,
Mark Messier. Yep. Jimmy Vesey, oddly enough, got picked 605 times. Who was like the lowest pick guy? Who?
Dunk Wilson.
Who the fuck are half of these? Who the fuck?
Mario. Mario.
Jason somebody picked Jason Magny.
No way.
Wow. Okay. Henrik Sedin
Panarin
was very popular.
I had Panarin right for that one time there.
Pavel Bure which is what we picked, was second. I figured it was one of the Sedins. I didn't want to take a wild stab at it though.
Yeah.
Kessel was second for that one. Gretzky was the number one pick for that one. It's hard to imagine why. Yeah. Rance was the one that we picked at 0.8.
Nice.
Joe Sakic would have been a really good one too. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of. I mean, look how long this list is, dude. I mean,
yeah, big list.
Dave Christian, really? Huh? Panarin, you were right with Panarin. He did have 40 apples in a season. Was that the one we took Gretz on? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think so. But we're both 2 for 2.
So okay, so you only had 5 people to choose from for Vegas for 40 assists. Marchessault, Mark Stone, and David Perron. I forgot he played in Vegas at some point.
Pietrangelo too. Jesus.
Schmidt. This Brad Hunt, Vancouver, Vegas. Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah, never would have got that. Lucas Spiza, I never would have got that. Beth said Ben Hutton. That's a really good one too. Vancouver, New York.
Spiza was the expansion draft.
Yes, he was.
Beth
was. Said Rangers Nux was Michael Del Zotto, and he was 1.5%. That's a really good one too. Donald Brashear, that's an interesting one. Pittsburgh and Rangers. Carl Hagelin, I never would have thought of. Ryan Reeves is a really good one though. Yeah, Boyle.
Broussard.
Jack Johnson, that would have been a good one too.
So Broussard in there.
Sandstrom, Eddie Olczyk, interesting. Yeah, like there's some obviously very like unknown names. They have a couple. I've had a couple Colorado ones in there every once in a while, but
yeah, not bad. 7 of 9, not bad.
That's a fun game to play. It really is. I have a lot of fun with that shit.
Oh yeah,
and it takes us off. So
yeah,
it's been fun. Let's do this again soon. Not every 2 months like we always end up seeming to do, but
yeah, definitely.
Summers are bad shit for me. It's kind of like my off season for podcasting, unfortunately. So
yeah, we both get busy.
It's true. It's true. So, hey, everyone who's still here remaining on YouTube and on Twitter, thank you. Nobody from Spotify will hear us anyways, so it's okay. So we thank you guys for being here. We're going to get back on it. The chances of us talking Broncos football are slim to none. Because they're an absolute shit show again at the moment with what with what Sean Payton's fucking doing.
I love it, dude.
He's a fucking idiot. And
Sean
we're definitely not
Payton-
talking rock.
Sean Payton taking shots at the lead.
Maybe Women's
That's the
World
time.
Cup. We'll talk about maybe the Women's World Cup. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, USA drew the Netherlands, so
They should be able to win it.
Cardinals are probably not going to trade Arenado. Interesting. Okay. That just came.
Oh,
so
by the
that's
way, U12 under 12 American national
45 to
baseball team,
1.
4 innings. They didn't even finish the game. Like 43 or 45 to 1 or something crazy like
Just
that.
quit piping fastballs, bro. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. They
Quit
beat
piping.
New Zealand. Beat New Zealand.
Yeah, and look at Beth. Yay, women's sports.
Woo!
By the way, Beth, I skated at the rink where the Buffalo Buttes play, so that was pretty fucking cool. It was converted to an inline rink for the summer, though, so
Gotcha.
enjoying inline hockey. So, all right, let's get out of here. We'll get to editing and we'll get back to it.
Yeah. Season
All right.
3.
Later.
Peace.